My name is Elina. I'm 25 years old, and I haven't been in love for a long time. Not because I don't want to be, but because I'm afraid. Afraid of what love can do when it goes wrong. Afraid of how much it can break you when it disappears. I've learned that the worst part of heartbreak isn't the end itself, it's the silence that comes after. The questions. The memories. The way you doubt everything, especially yourself. This is how you learn real English, through real emotion. Keep watching and hit subscribe. My last relationship ended 2 years ago. I gave everything to someone who promised me forever. He was gentle in the beginning. Kind. Attentive. The kind of man who makes you believe again. And then, slowly, he stopped being those things. He started pulling away. Ignoring my messages. Making me feel like I was too much, even when I said nothing at all. One day, he just stopped coming home. No goodbye. No reason. Just absence. Since then, I've kept people at a distance. Friends tell me I should move on. That not everyone is like him. But they don't understand what it's like to build your life around someone and then watch it fall apart without warning. To stand in the mirror and wonder, what was wrong with me? Even now, when someone smiles at me or tries to get close, I smile back, but I never let them in. My heart is behind a door I no longer know how to open. Then one day, something shifted. It wasn't love. Not at first. Just a moment. A conversation. A stranger with kind eyes who didn't ask for anything, but stayed long enough to make me feel seen. I didn't know it then, but that moment would change everything. It happened on a Thursday morning. I was sitting at the library, pretending to read. I hadn't slept well the night before, and I just needed to be somewhere quiet, somewhere no one expected me to talk. I chose a corner table, far from the windows, where I could disappear. Then I heard a voice. Low. Calm. Is this seat taken? I looked up. He was tall, but not intimidating. Soft brown eyes. A simple gray hoodie. The kind of person you forget in a crowd, except I didn't. There was something in the way he looked at me. Not like he wanted something. Just like he was curious. I nodded, and he sat down. For a while, we didn't speak. He opened a book. I tried to focus on mine. But I kept noticing the way he smiled at the pages, like he was reading a story he already loved. Minutes passed. Then he said something about the book he was reading. I don't remember the words. I just remember that he didn't force the conversation. He didn't ask my name. He didn't ask why I looked tired. He just shared something, quietly, kindly, and waited. We talked for less than 5 minutes. But when he left, I realized I was smiling too. It wasn't much. But it stayed with me. That night, I thought about how easy it had been. No pressure. No expectations. Just a small moment with a stranger who made the world feel a little less cold. I told myself it was nothing, that I'd never see him again. But deep down, something had shifted. A crack in the wall I'd built. Small, almost invisible, but real. I saw him again the next week. Same place. Same quiet presence. This time, he waved before sitting down. I nodded back, but my hands were sweating. I wasn't used to this. To attention without pressure. To being noticed without being asked to perform. He spoke about something simple, his dog, I think. I barely heard the words. My thoughts were too loud. Why is he sitting with me again? Does he expect something? What if I say the wrong thing? What if I let him in and everything falls apart again? I smiled, but it wasn't real. My chest was tight. My body was present, but my mind was building walls again, fast, high, sharp. I gave short answers. Safe ones. I avoided eye contact. And yet, he didn't leave. He didn't look annoyed or disappointed. He just stayed, flipping pages, occasionally glancing at me with that same soft expression, like he understood I wasn't ready. Like he wasn't going to rush me. After 20 minutes, he said goodbye and left. I exhaled as soon as he walked away. Not in relief, but in regret. I had wanted to speak. Really speak. But fear had wrapped itself around my throat like it always did, whispering all the reasons I should stay silent. That night, I sat on the edge of my bed, replaying the conversation, or lack of it. I wasn't upset with him. I was upset with myself. I hated that I still felt broken. I hated that one kind moment could terrify me more than an argument. Love wasn't supposed to be scary. But to me, it was. Love meant risk. Vulnerability. The possibility of abandonment. And I wasn't sure I could survive that again. Still, part of me wanted to try. Even if it was just a conversation. Even if it was just 5 honest minutes. The third time we met, he brought 2 coffees. He didn't ask what I liked. He just placed one in front of me and said, I guessed. I stared at the cup for a long time before saying thank you. It was warm. Familiar. Too familiar. Something about that simple gesture made my chest tighten. He was being kind. That was all. But my mind screamed danger. I tried to smile, but I felt dizzy. My hands trembled as I reached for the cup. I couldn't look at him. I kept thinking, this is how it starts again. A few smiles, a few words, and then the waiting, the silence, the leaving. I didn't want to feel that pain again. Not even a little. And suddenly, all I wanted was to disappear. To leave the table. To run. He noticed. I know he did. My voice was shaking when I said, I'm sorry. I should go. I stood up too quickly. The chair scraped the floor. My heart was pounding. He didn't stop me. He didn't ask why. He just said, "It's okay, Elina. Take your time." He knew my name. I hadn't told him. I must have written it on a book or a note the last time. I don't know. But the way he said it, soft, respectful, with no expectation, made me freeze. Just for a second. I nodded and left. Fast. Back in my room, I cried. Not because of him. Because of me. Because I hated that something good could scare me so much. Because I wanted to be close, but every time someone reached out, I flinched like they were about to hurt me. That night, I asked myself a question I had been avoiding: do I want to stay this afraid forever? And for the first time, I answered no. The next day, I went back. I didn't plan to. I woke up thinking of every excuse not to. But something kept pulling me there, not to see him, but to face myself. I didn't wear makeup. I didn't rehearse what to say. I just walked, heart racing, palms sweating, and sat at the same table where everything inside me had fallen apart. He wasn't there. I stared at the empty chair across from me, feeling both relief and disappointment. I placed my coffee on the table, took a breath, and waited. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. I started to believe he wouldn't come. And maybe that was fair. I had left him with no explanation. Maybe I didn't deserve another chance to try. But just as I was about to leave, he walked in. His expression was soft, cautious, like someone approaching a wild animal. He didn't sit down right away. He just asked, "Is it okay if I join you?" I nodded. For a few minutes, we sat in silence. Then I said the words that had been trapped in my chest for years: "I'm not good at this." He looked at me, not confused, not surprised. Just present. I kept going. When someone gets close, I panic. I overthink. I disappear. It's not about you. It's me. It's everything I haven't healed from yet. He didn't interrupt. He didn't try to fix it. He just listened. Then he said something I'll never forget. "You don't have to be ready. You just have to be honest." That was it. No pressure. No timeline. Just space. I nodded, and for the first time in years, I felt like I was breathing without armor. That afternoon, we didn't talk much. But we stayed. 2 people. 2 coffees. And something new between us, not a promise, not a plan. Just possibility. Some people talk about healing like it's a destination. Like one day you wake up and the fear is gone, the past is distant, the wounds are invisible. But that's not how it was for me. Healing felt more like walking barefoot across broken glass, slow, painful, uncertain. Some days I still flinch when kindness gets too close. Some nights I still hear old voices in my head, telling me I'm not enough, or too much, or both at once. But here's the difference now. I don't believe those voices anymore. I'm not fearless, but I'm present. I still carry my scars, but I've stopped hiding them. I still feel the urge to run sometimes, but I've learned to pause, to breathe, to stay just a little longer than I did the last time. And that, to me, is courage. What changed wasn't him, it was me. The day I decided to stop waiting until I felt ready was the day I gave myself permission to live again. Because love, real love, healthy love, doesn't demand perfection. It meets you where you are. It doesn't push you to open your heart. It waits patiently at the door and says, "Take your time." We still meet at that same table sometimes. We still drink coffee and talk about books, music, and little things that matter more than they seem. He never asked me to explain my silence. He never rushed my pace. And because of that, I started to trust again. Not just him. Myself. Because loving someone again doesn't mean you're healed. It just means you're willing to believe that healing is possible. And sometimes, that's enough. Subscribe and keep improving your English through stories that speak to the heart.